A welder stands outside an apartment building, focused on repairing a damaged metal fence. Suddenly, loud screams break the calm. People come running down the street. Two thieves speed past on a motorbike, trying to escape, with a small crowd chasing after them. The welder looks up, quickly assessing the situation. Without hesitation, he grabs a loose section of the metal fence he had just removed. As the motorbike approaches, he times it carefully and throws the metal piece toward the path of the bike. It hits the front wheel, causing the riders to lose balance. The motorbike skids and crashes to the ground. The thieves scramble but are quickly surrounded by the pursuing crowd. Within moments, they're overpowered and held down until authorities arrive. The welder also chases after them. What started as a normal workday turned into a moment that stopped a crime in its tracks.
After a long day at work while driving home, a car carelessly pulled over in front of him. Before he could react, he realized the truth. These weren't just careless drivers. They were armed robbers. Instead of surrendering to fear, he chose survival. He maneuvered his car, broke free from the trap, and escaped, leaving the robbers behind stunned. No shots fired. No chase.
This group of friends were just in a parking lot, but everything changed when a car pulled up in front of them. Two men came out of the back of the car. But one of the friends was fast and smart. He noticed one of the passengers of the car had a gun and he didn't hesitate to pull out his, using it to defend himself and his friends. An off-duty police officer drives home after a long day. Just as he's about to drive off, a man suddenly appears beside the vehicle. The robber tries to force him out of the car, growing more aggressive. In one swift move, the officer reaches for his concealed weapon. The officer takes a defensive stance, forcing the attacker to back off. Realizing he picked the wrong target, the robber panics and runs off down the street. Nearby pedestrians, who had begun to notice the commotion, watch as the suspect disappears. The officer remains steady, quickly calling in the incident and giving a description. Within minutes, backup units are on the way. What could have been a routine stop turned into a tense encounter, but experience and composure made all the difference. Talk about meeting your friends in odd places. This worker was returning home late at night when suddenly a bike pulled up and one of the bike robbers came down and approached him trying to rob him. But luckily for him, it was his friend. The friend apologized and gave him a hug, got back on the bike and drove off. Late one night, a woman was walking home along a quiet street with an umbrella in her hand. The road was dark and almost empty, and the night was calm. Suddenly, two thieves on a motorcycle rode up and stopped near her. One of them remained on the bike while the other got down and approached her, trying to rob her. Realizing the situation, the woman quickly thought of a way to protect her belongings. She quietly slipped her phone inside the folded part of her umbrella and held it firmly so it would not be seen. She then pretended that she had nothing valuable with her. The thief searched her pockets and looked through her bag, hoping to find something worth taking. After searching and finding nothing important, the thief became frustrated. With nothing to steal, he returned to the motorcycle. The two thieves then rode away into the night, disappointed. Once they were gone, the woman took her phone out from the umbrella, relieved that her quick thinking had helped her avoid losing it, and she continued walking home safely. On a quiet Sunday evening, a cashier was attending to a customer inside a small neighborhood store. The atmosphere was calm and slow. Suddenly, a masked man burst through the door holding a gun. Startled, the customer immediately panicked and ran out of the store to escape the danger. The robber turned his attention to the cashier, trying to intimidate him. But before he could make his demand, the store owner, who was nearby, quickly grabbed a machete. Holding it firmly, the owner stepped forward and threatened to strike the robber if he didn't leave immediately. Seeing the weapon and realizing the situation had turned against him, the thief became frightened. Without wasting another second, the robber turned around and ran out of the store, escaping as fast as he could while the owner stood ready with the machete. The attempted robbery had been stopped before it could even begin. It was late in the evening when a police officer returned home after her shift. The neighborhood was quiet as she slowly reversed her car into her garage. Suddenly, a white car pulled up in front of her house. Before she could fully react, 3 men stepped out of the vehicle and began firing at her car. The attack was swift and unexpected. Inside the vehicle, the officer remained focused despite the chaos. Drawing on her training, she quickly reached for her legally carried firearm. From inside her car, she returned fire in defense, forcing the attackers to retreat. The suspects, caught off guard by her response, rushed back into their white car. Within seconds, they sped away from the scene, abandoning the attack. The officer immediately secured herself, contacted emergency services, and reported the incident. Additional units arrived shortly after to investigate the attempted ambush. Thanks to her calm reaction and professional training, the officer survived the attack and prevented the situation from escalating further. A quiet afternoon filled the jewelry store as customers browsed the displays and cashiers worked behind the counter. Suddenly, a man walked into the store looking around. At first, he seemed like any other customer, but the cashiers quickly realized they recognized him from a previous robbery incident at another store. Remaining calm, they watched as the man approached the jewelry displays. Before he could attempt anything, both cashiers who were licensed to carry firearms for security acted immediately. They stepped forward, drew their firearms, and firmly ordered the man to get on the ground and not move. Realizing he had been recognized, the man complied and lay face down on the floor. Within minutes, the police arrived and arrested him without any resistance. Thanks to the quick thinking and alertness of the cashiers, the situation ended safely before any crime could occur. One quiet Saturday night, a man was walking home alone through a quiet street. The area was dark and mostly empty, and he was simply trying to get home safely after a long day. As he continued walking, he suddenly heard the sound of a motorcycle approaching from behind. A bike carrying the men soon pulled up beside him. The rider slowed down while the man sitting at the back began demanding the man's belongings. It quickly became clear that they were trying to rob him. Instead of panicking, the man reacted quickly. As the motorcycle moved closer to him, he suddenly kicked the bike with force. The unexpected move caused the rider to lose control, and both thieves fell to the ground along with the motorcycle. On a quiet evening on the 12th of May 2023, a man was having dinner at a restaurant with his wife and daughter. The place was calm, with customers quietly enjoying their meals. Suddenly, a man wearing a face cap walked up to their table. He quietly pulled out a gun and pointed it at the father, ordering him and his wife to hand over their belongings. Not wanting to cause a scene or frighten their daughter, they slowly gave him their phones, wallets, and jewelry. After taking their valuables, the robber calmly walked to 2 other tables. He showed the gun to the customers and demanded their belongings, and they quickly handed them over. Within a few minutes, the man had robbed several people. He then tucked the gun away and casually walked out of the restaurant, leaving the shocked customers behind.